Ty is the tech wizard of the team. Thanks. Not only talk about the power and transformation that is Peru and the trip that Jason has spent a long time, the past decade, cultivating in a very deep and intentional way and bringing us along to continue building momentum towards um, just adding more value and creating more structure around this powerful experience. I mean, Jay will share more about kind of the origin story, but it's so fascinating every time you hear about it. He literally just went out there with a backpack, in search of whatever he was in searching for. And it's like wild some of the stories he has of going out there and the origin stories of what we now call soul mission activation. Um, but I also want to share just about kind of the state of the world. I feel like everybody here is aware of, what's going on, not just from a, you know, geopolitical lens and the kind of 3D lens of all the, things that are happening in the world, but, from a spiritual lens and an individual transformational lens. I know all of us on some level are being faced with um, internal opportunities to grow in a lot of different dimensions. And one of the great things about this experience, we call it a rite of passage because it truly is an opportunity to actively participate in our own initiatory process, our own journey of alchemizing old aspects of self, old stories, and allowing space for um, our hearts to get activated and our souls to get activated so that we can really remember the truth of who we are, why we're here, and then really connect with other aligned, focused people who want to impact the world in a positive way. Um, and so, yeah, I'll share a little bit about me and I'll introduce myself and I'll give the other members of the team an opportunity to introduce themselves and then we can create some dialogue around that. And we can share more specifically around Peru and then we'll leave some time at the end for some questions around the trip specifically because there's a big, unknown. There's a big leap of faith with something like this, not just going to a foreign country, but, trusting us as kind of leaders bringing you out there and just like a lot of questions and part of uh the beauty of this experience is as soon as you commit and you feel that pull in your heart that you're supposed to be there, the ceremony really begins and the one of the things I tell people often, one of my favorite things I see in others that inspires me most is the courage I see when someone feels something pull them towards something and it's an unknown and they say yes. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Has been a big part of my journey as well. So those of you that don't know me, a big part of my past life, I played in the NFL for 8 years and learned a lot. Those lifetimes worth of lessons in each season. And yeah, I walked away in my prime because of that very thing. I felt like it was no longer serving me. And it was, sorry, Katie's coming in. It was one of my first like real big initiatory processes was letting go of this entire life I'd worked my entire life for. Said no to a lot of money and, having worked to reach that pinnacle, but there was something calling me to experience life and there was something really calling me to something more, and I had no idea what that was. And I've spent the last 8 years, I retired in 2017, ended up going on a deep odyssey, I would say, a pilgrimage into myself and um, looking for deeper purpose and deeper meaning. And last 8 years, I've been really on that path, and I've met a lot of you during that journey. And yeah, one of the beautiful things is connecting this to Peru is last year on the mountain when we were meditating up in Quinta Cocha, which is one of the most beautiful places on earth. During my meditation up there at the peak, literally the peak of the ceremony and the peak of this mountain overlooking this valley. And the mountains, they gave me a piece of my purpose, like a task. It was like you're here to bring as many people to sit with us as possible. And it really anchored in my commitment to this path and this experience specifically. And I'm so grateful for Jay. I mean, I went on the Peru trip 3 years ago as a participant, and it was really deep. I was moving through a really deep process, specifically around my parents and my familial trauma, childhood trauma, and was able to really alchemize a lot of the pain and the really accept them for who they are. And just, I'm sure we all have our own journey with our parents, but it was a really powerful, deep experience. And really grateful for Jay having, brought me on last year to co-facilitate and to lead more people up there. And yeah, it's really, really just an incredible, incredible experience. Um, I've been doing a lot of study around, you know, the systems, really wanting to understand why the world is the way it is. And in that process, I've come to really um, understand a wide lens of kind of what's going on, and don't need to get into all that right now. But one of the things I've become really passionate about is initiatory processes and rites of passage and leading people to the threshold. And that's really what this is. Whatever you go up with the mountain, whoever you go up as, you're going to come down the mountain a changed person, and you're going to come down the mountain with a profound connection to a tribe, a growing tribe of people that are on the path with you. And I think that's the most valuable thing that I've got is I no longer feel alone, as in football and have the teammates and like really tight bonds. That's another thing I'll share is when you do hard things together, because there's a lot of part of this journey is being uncomfortable, not just the weather, but a lot of different aspects of hiking in these mountains. And I said last year, at the beginning of the trip, one of like when you do hard things together, this is how we become best friends because you can't hide. And that's really true. And I learned that in football. We did training camp and went through Hell Week each year. It was 6 weeks of just, it was brutal. And at the end of that, the team was forged. And we all went through that challenging experience because we were doing it for something greater than ourselves. And that's what allowed me to push myself past my own discomfort, my own limits, because I was doing it for something greater than myself. And it was like a limited thing. It was, for a championship or to win or, you know, these things that the team wants to do. But now applying that to something like this is like we're really here to change the world in our own way. And that doesn't have to be a grandiose kind of hubris vision, but the way we change the world is by changing ourselves and coming together and amplifying that energy within ourselves. And not feeling like we're doing it alone. Because I know some of you guys might still be kind of more in an old life and maybe starting to wake up and question like what's next, or maybe this isn't fully in alignment. And it can feel very isolating in those environments. And all I can say is trust that, and know that you're not alone. And an experience like this is really what brings us together in a really, really deep and profound way. And that's one of the things I'm really excited about. And we've all talked about in our team meetings quite often is growing the tribe so that we can collaborate and co-create together. So this isn't just about a personal journey or a personal transformation, which is definitely going to happen for all of us, even us that have been up there before. Like I'm so looking forward to what I'm going to learn about myself up on the mountains this year. But what I'm really excited about is just connecting with more and more people. And there's this tipping point that's happening, and I can feel it, and maybe you guys can feel it too. We're approaching these timelines that you know there's a lot of change happening, a lot of transformation, and there's a lot of momentum happening, and yeah, just really excited about connecting and collaborating with more and more people. So that's a little bit about me. I'd love to open it up to any of Tyler, J, or D if you guys want to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about Peru and what drew you to it.
Yeah, Divine, you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So I live in Lafayette with Jay, and we've been friends for like 7 years, and we both kind of went on bigger parts of our spiritual journey around the same time, and just like weaving separately, but both growing and evolving. And he does these serves medicine in the swamp, and it's kind of like a different version of what we do in Peru, but a really beautiful version. And I went there, and this medicine that we're going to do in Peru, it really, I sat with it, and it healed a lot of what specifically needed to be healed in my life in a way of like it didn't have to be so hard. I'd done a bunch of different medicines before that. And this medicine in particular just kind of like hit the frequency that I needed. And so I worked with it for a few years and then felt that call to Peru. And I was just like, I have to get there. I really don't care how I'm going to get there. And so even though I was working with Jay already, starting to work in the swamp with him, I went last year as a participant and was held by these guys, and it was absolutely amazing. I just kind of got to heal this grief that had been on my heart for about 17 years. I'd carrying it around, but not realizing that's what I was carrying around. And like Joe said, it was like as soon as I said my yes, all these series of things kind of unfolded and it opened. And yeah, it was the transformation that I was searching for, and it was like this sense of belonging, but not just within a tribe. Something within me came back, something really deep within myself came back to this centered state where it's like I now have the capacity to deal with things on a different level. And I was already leading retreats. I'm a massage therapist. I teach yoga. I was already down my spiritual path, but something about Peru like woke something up in my heart, like the culture, the lineage, the medicine in general of the tribe, not the actual medicine we're taking, like the tribe and the laughter
Mm.
and the coming back to this heartfelt play. It's like something that I'd been praying for many years and had these little tastes, these little nuggets here or there, but it was just what I needed. The really difficult, like, gotta overcome this thing within myself. I'm the only one that can do it. And then the rebirthing of oneself on the other side. And so, yeah, Peru is just something so special to me because it was the first time I saw so many collective people come together with the same dream and actually take action afterwards. And so it was really cool kind of witnessing like the tipping point, the precipice of like, oh wait, this is something so much bigger than myself, bigger than just us right here. This is the ripple effect I've been praying for. And so yeah, just being with the family that we Jason's teacher that we sit under and learning from them, and the energy of the land in general, and of course the food and the medicine. It was just something that I didn't understand how much my soul was craving and needing. And from there, it's been the expansion that I think me and anyone else who came on that retreat really needed. And I've witnessed it happen like year after year. And that was why I really wanted to join. And so now we all are leading it together. Like I said, I was doing this work beforehand in different ways, different sectors. And it feels really good to be on a team where it's not just like, oh, we're doing some retreat. No, this is actually a pilgrimage, a rite of passage, something where when you're done, you really don't come back the same. And something that I feel like in our society, we don't have enough opportunities to experience. Um, Really getting to know oneself through sometimes the hardest things that we'll ever encounter, whether that's sitting, through this sovereign space and working through what we encounter on the medicine or hiking up the mountain. And so, yeah, I just feel super honored to have learned underneath Jason for so many years and to carry this medicine in such a way and to be able to support not just the feminine, but masculine in this container. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Oh, thanks.
That is far from it. Just wait till Divine's a freaking portal. The synchronicities that led up last time, which we're being judicious with time. So Jay, go ahead, take it away, bro.
What's up, guys?
Mm.
Yeah, I've been doing this for almost over a decade now, and I'd be doing this by myself every year, but now I get to do it with my best friends, and it just keeps getting way funner and way easier. I think, like my teacher says, if you're always taking warm showers, you probably have a pretty challenging life. And the more I've gone to do things like this, the easier life has gotten, and the more I've been able to tap into just that kid-like play that Divine was talking about, the kid life. But yeah, it's really with this medicine, it's absolutely my life. I've dedicated my life to this cactus, Wachuma. Don Howard, the late Don Howard, my teacher, and just seeing him, witnessing him, and him saying his favorite part of this was bringing kindred spirits together, like-hearted people that have similar intentions. We're putting energy into our lives to make our lives better. That's the common denominator that we all share. And this medicine is community medicine. It's closer to MDMA than it is a tryptamine like mushrooms. It brings you into your heart and deep into the present moment. And those two things are not only a recipe for a very good time, but a very meaningful time. So the efficiency of it, like Divine was saying, I've done, plenty of all the medicines, and I can't get enough of exploration of consciousness, the origins of creation, all the things. Um, so I could keep showing up, but this one is different in a way that it's not. It integrates in real time. It's not like this big process I have to go and like come back to myself and figure out a lot of pieces that I need to put back together, but it really integrates in real time. And going to Peru in the mountains, just witnessing this over the last 8 years, I've been working very closely with the medicine, is how the experiences differ. Being in the swamp, it's very feminine energy. It's life and it's flowing, and with all the trees in the swamp, it's more processes, it's more emotional, internal work. Whereas the mountains, it's more perspective. It's like gaining direction, and it's right in line prefaced with the soul mission activation. And this is where I found my direction, which this is the direction I'm traveling. You guys are here with me. Um, and it's the path I've been on for, 8 years now doing this. Before it was just personal exploration, and then I started supporting ceremonies and learning more, and then taking understudies and apprenticeships with teachers. One of them, our mountain guide, Hernan, who's going to be guiding us there. And being out in the mountains, it's very masculine, it's very still. And this medicine, I refer to it because many people have reference to psilocybin, and I say mushrooms are like a jazz song. There's major notes, there's minor notes. It's unpredictable. It's like the ocean. It's all over the place. You could be laughing. You could be in a grief portal in 10 minutes. You don't really know. The cactus is like a tuning fork. It's one note and it never wavers. It's just being this one frequency that's very still and predictable. And that is a core, principle foundation for what we consider to be healed masculine energy is grounded. It's still, it's rooted. And that's why many refer to it as like the healed masculine, the frequency of the healed masculine. And being in these masculine mountains with this masculine medicine, it's more outward looking. It's like directional. Like what, you go out and you gain perspective from the peaks of these mountains. Like what is going to fulfill me on my deathbed? Like what really matters? What am I putting my energy? What choices am I making today that's going to add to what's going to fulfill me when I'm meeting my own death? And that's what's really helped me. And we prefaced this collective intention last year, and just seeing that realized through many of our relatives who came was just everything for me. It was just like it lights me up to see someone finding that and to come together and share in that. And so just witnessing, I could talk so much about the medicine, and I probably will, but it's witnessing how this medicine works in these ways like this, and the reciprocity, showing up and giving to that. I grow 400 of them plus or minus back here, and I'm constantly in relation, giving them so much. And the more I've given them, the more they give me. And it's like this parallel path of service where we're just serving. And Don Howard would speak of the consciousness of plants, and I didn't quite understand that, but he would speak of this having a much further evolved consciousness than other plants. And that to me was just completely mystical and like very fascinating. And now I'm starting to understand that more. And they're like antennas. They communicate with each other, and they've been here for a very long time. And many refer to them as it's the philosopher's medicine. And it opens up this perspective where you're coming from the heart. You're not experiencing through the mind. And it's like a lot of different cultures who work with this, they talk about the head being cut off because it just like takes you out of the mind into the heart. And this is where you can see your dreams being fulfilled. And it's, they talk about the catalyst for manifestation. This is what this medicine in the Native American traditions with peyote, with wachuma, it's a prayer service. You're setting intentions and you're working on what we would call manifestation. You're setting in motion, you're planting these seeds, but it's the energy behind it. It's not just uttering some words before bed. It's like you're feeling this, and when you take the mind out of the picture and you come into the heart, and then you're starting to feel into these dreams that you want to create. For one, you believe in yourself from this place. I don't know if you guys work with the medicine, especially like MDMA, it hits the same receptors but very different and completely natural, but you feel like you can do anything. This medicine is a very grounded version of that, where you're so deep into yourself, but you feel like, man, I can start that restaurant. Like I can write that book. And it just gives you that little bit and you plant that seed and then the momentum starts. And this is how the law of attraction, the materialization of what we want to create happens. And this is why it's been a catalyst for manifestation for millennia, for so long. And I just love that. I love creating and I love communing. I love coming together. So it's just been such a celebratory medicine as well, going through this. And there's never a psychological challenge with this medicine, which is really beautiful in many regards. If there is any work, it's generally in the throat and the heart. And it really brings into this balance of harmony of masculine and feminine, where we all know like the suppression of the feminine has been happening for a long time, many generations. So it really brings up and liberates that aspect of the feminine and also brings down that wounded masculine where you need to prove things, you need to race the rats, compete with your neighbors, and you come into this balance. And not only masculine and feminine inside and outside of you, but like within you, like the masculine archetypal energy that is within women as well to come up and that might need to like prove something will come down and like also those creative flowy aspects of within men can be liberated. And so both men and women and within both of us, it really brings in this balance of the gender polarity. And that's really cool. And yeah, so I've just been on this. I mean, there's so many ways I could take this and talk about this forever, but I'll try to keep it like a little bit concise. That's just my path. Started out 2015, Don Howard, and found him, found ceremony, and everything shifted. And I knew I was already the guy getting the mushrooms and like, here, you take this, you take this. Didn't even know what I was doing recreationally, starting in 2008, maybe before that. And then I found the cactus and it was like home for me. And I knew I'd work with this for the rest of my life, but it was just for friends and family until I did 5-MeO DMT in 2019. And it was like, no, this is like, you have the potential. And Don Howard was dying and his torch was going out and it showed his torch wickering out and that I had the potential to carry this torch forward and allow others to light their torch, their dreams, bring their torch lit to their families, their workplaces. And that's what led me on the path of continuing to study. And I've just been bringing people to Peru, to my teachers, and getting to sit with, you know, Hernan, who is of the Quechua lineage, many generations of Huachimeros, and hiking 7 to 10 miles on the medicine way back in the Andes. And, we come out first ceremony, we come down from a 7 mile hike straight into his family's living room where it's like an episode of National Geographic and they're all cooking food and dancing and making art. And it's just like that alone right there to me is what I consider to be flavor. It's like, the culture, the richness of the experience is created in the authentic, like living of different traditions. And so that's what lights me on fire is it's not just like this, we see a lot of professional containers where they're missing that heart, that soul. So having that element and then going to Chavin with Martin, who was born in the Chavin temple and he lived there till he was 26 till the government made it an archaeological site. He had his first daughter, was born in the Shavin Temple. His family has been caretakers for the Shavin Temple. The altar that he carries is the oldest altar that we know of, that's still intact, passed down generation to generation. The invocations, the prayers, the way the ceremony's led, the way the medicine's made, it's the oldest intact altar. which is really special to someone like me who, likes to sit at the feet of wisdom keepers and elders and just listen and continue to like preserve traditions and wisdom. That way I can share it with others. And that's what really fulfills me is finding some divine message that allows me to have more fun in my life, to have a better time. So I can take this and then share this. And that's what I've been on, and that's what I'll be doing to the end of time. And this pilgrimage has just been a really fun way to do that. I just can't speak enough of, like the exploration for me and going into this country where it's like Bourdain said, is like Lima was the largest emerging culinary scene in the world. And you can see this throughout all of Peru. It's the owner operator establishments where the heart and soul is responsible for what's being created. It's not some dollar sign that is motivating these factors. So that cultural immersion has been very inspiring. So that in parallel with the intentions we're setting, it's like we're meant to create in the light of our creator. It's like we are creators, we're fractals of the creator. So whenever we create something, that is very fulfilling on a soul level. And it's like these creations will outlive us. And part of the soul mission activation is like we need some of us know that any amount of effort towards service to other is going to far outweigh any amount of comfort or financial advancement. So if you haven't figured that out and you're looking for more fulfillment, it's pray for others, serve others, help others is what I've found to bring more fulfillment into my life. And so yeah, this has just been it for me and now having the team together. It's just gotten way funner. Like I said, I've been doing this by myself for many years and then Megan and I did it and I've always had friends come, but like developing this team, we meet every week and talk about this and I'm really good at creating like the vibe, the essence, and the structure has been lacking. But with Joe and Ty and Devon, it's been creating a lot of structure around this experience because it is extremely the potential is extremely high for transformation and for inspiration and motivation and all these things that a lot of us are looking for in certain regards. So to meet that experience where it's at and not, just like, all right, guys, meet me on the mountain like I've been doing for many years. It's like, all right, I'll send out just like a page, like get a puff jacket, get a rain jacket, and I'll see y'all there. Now we're creating, we're doing webinars, we're meeting the experience for where it is. And I've learned the more you talk about this, the more momentum and energy you put into what you're creating, into this transformation. Of course, we all talk about intention, knowing what our intention is. We're talking about it now. You're sharing your intention with your neighbor, with us. The intention is it's building energy, and it's like this electromagnetic. It's like magnets coming together. It's like what we want wants us, and it's good. We're creating it through our intention and through giving it energy and giving it the light of our awareness. So just with that and having these calls, I've seen just a lot of effect, these things realized. So I'll leave that. Thank you guys for joining here, and I can't wait to see y'all on the mountain.
Yeah.
A word from our humble founder. My goodness, mic drop, bro. You know, if I don't know you yet, I'm gonna know you. And that's really what I got to say about myself is I love humans and humans that are on a path and on a mission and dropping from the mind into the heart and living in coherence gives us the actual bandwidth to build bridges that are sustainable and connected. And so yeah, we can dive in a lot deeper, but personally, I would love to hear, Joe, if there's anything else that you were thinking that we cover up front, but really, I would love questions. Like, what is it that you guys are curious about, and how can we show up in service, right here, right meow.
Oh, thank you, Ty. Yeah, it's a very multi-dimensional experience. It's hard to even put a marketing strategy together to share what this experience is really all about. That's why we're doing something like this. So you guys can connect with us and connect with the energy. Like Jay was saying, it's not just the Wachuma, it's the mountains, it's the perspective. It's for me, I mean, on this path of becoming a leader and desiring to learn and sit at the feet of elders as well. It's like working with Hernan. I haven't met Martin yet because I didn't we didn't go to Chavin last year. That's an addition this year. I'm really excited to meet him, but there's just something really special about being on this path and sitting in ceremony and then sitting with an elder that's connected to the ancient ways and carrying that medicine. It's like this connection to the lineage and that wisdom. That's an aspect. And then the culture and the way this medicine works, like Jay was talking about, the community vibe. Like when we're down there, we're with Hernan's family and we feel integrated. Like I've never been to a place, I've traveled to a place where I felt like home. Like I always felt like a tourist, Like we literally are integrated into the local environment. We're at Hernan's home and he's cooking for us and he's taking us up on the mountain. And it's just so deep on so many different levels. And then, we've built in a little food tour on bookending on the front end and the back end of these trips as well. Jay's very multidimensional man as well. He's not just a carrier of the Wachuma, but he's an incredible chef and just his his connection to flavor and to art and the culinary experience. He's going to take us on these food tours to some of the best restaurants in town, and he will kind of give us a whole spread and breakdown of that. So there's so much value here. There's so many different dimensions, and yeah, like Ty said, I think we have about 20 minutes left. I'd love to open up if there's any specific questions. It can be directed to any of us as individuals or about the experience itself to help you orient to yeah, making it out there with us. So if anybody feels called
Hey,
to,
real quick on that note, we've got Katie Hitchcock on the scene who was up there on the
oh,
mountain with us, yeah, last year. And if you want to say a little bit about yourself and just what the experience was like, Katie, and then we can field any other questions.
For sure. Hopefully there's a little bit of music behind me, so hopefully you can still hear me. Um, oh my God. I don't know how to talk about this experience without it taking like writing like three epic novels, like the Odyssey of each one. Like, like there aren't words and then there aren't enough words. I would say I'll just speak to like the in-between space that kind of like weaves all of these things that these guys have touched on already is the the community, like we you guys touched on the people, but really like the way that every single thing, whether it's like the food tour at the beginning or the way that we're all traveling together, or the way we're like going in the morning to get smoothies and flowers to offer to the mountain, like there's a new way that you're gonna live like your whole life after this experience, and it's just gonna be infiltrated with connection and prayer and intention in a way that like I wish I could describe it. You really just are gonna have to go feel it, and then it's never gonna leave you. Um like the way that you won't ever look at fruit the same. You're never gonna look at flowers the same. You're never gonna like you're never like the way you taste food for the rest of your life is going to change because of the intention that this whole crew brings in. Like there is even a moment like it's infiltrated the small little things I do. I put together a little like tea party at a festival called Unison that Jay was at. We saw each other at the fire, didn't even plan it. And the next day I was like, oh, I wanted to do this tea party. And so as in the moment that I said like, hey, I would love to do something that I learned from one of my teachers, Jaybird. And like within 1 second of saying that, I turned over and Jay's walking in the entrance to the festival. And it was just like, shut up. Like, this is the best ever. And then he sat down and that was something that is like, it's so interwoven in my life now from the way that this whole team like lives. Like, I don't know how else to say it other than that. Like the way that you all live and that's introduced, whether it's food or the way we're traveling or the way we're walking or the way that we're in the meditation or the way we're singing music on the way down the mountain, like that thread that weaves through all of it, it's just like, I don't know, it like lights up your DNA and it doesn't leave you.
Mm.
Dang, Katie.
Katie, I'm sold. I want to go. I can't.
Yeah, sign me up.
I cannot wait to get back to Peru. You got me all tingly inside.
Yeah. And then it's gonna make you like for the final little like point, like my whole everything that has happened since Peru, like it's none of my life from when did we get back from Peru? It was like March. Could have happened without having gone to Peru. Like my whole life has completely changed trajectory because of that and because of the soul famine, because of like so much of that particular group, like we all ended up just basically coming to the swamp to live there for a month afterwards. And then I'm like spending time in parts of the country I never would have ever done that before without this group of people. I'm a mountain girl, and I'm like, I'm going to the swamp? Question mark. Like, I'm gonna go hang out in Louisiana during the hottest, sweatiest months because I love these people so much. Like, that's the level of like the connections that remain after the fact. I think I can't speak for everyone here, but I think a lot of us who've gone to like maybe a retreat before, or you've been in an online course that was still really impactful, but and you made amazing friends during it, but you didn't necessarily keep touch afterwards. This is so unique and like it's genuine like soul fam. Like you if like as long as you're putting effort in, like you will maintain friendship with this group of people, like hopefully for life, because that's what's happened for me. And I like freaking love all of you so much.
Oh,
Aho, that's
KD.
me.
All
Appreciate
right, who's got some questions?
Hmm.
This is Brad Everett. I met Joe years ago.
it. Brad,
Hello, brother.
good to see you, bro.
You too. Not to go into too much dialogue. I don't think there's a long enough time and a couch I can stay on for to repeat my history. But will it help with all the issues growing up and excuse my language, but fucked up life I lived just from cradle to now?
Jay, you want to talk a little bit about
yeah,
experience?
yeah, potentially. This medicine is not the go clean out your closet medicine, which is, like there's a lot of medicines, also like the jazz song and the tuning fork. It's just like the ayahuasca, the mushrooms is like your mom going under your bed with the flashlight. It's like, what's all this stuff you've been sweeping under here, not looking at? And that's the shadow, and that's unconscious. And that's a big part of, really cleaning the slate to plant new seeds, like reconditioning the soil but this is more like your dad or your grandpa opening the front door to the house and like, hey, like, what do you want to create during this incarnation? It's like really gaining that perspective. And there's ways to really, I wouldn't say bypass that because the feminine part, the feeling, the shadows, that is really important. But also like the masculine as far as like the perspective shift. Like sometimes when you shift your perspective and you see how those fucked up things serve your life, you really it's like, oh wait, you can now open your heart and love those things because however it developed you, however it leveraged the experience that you want to have, you can't know the heights of joy until you know the depths of depression. Whenever you shift your perspective, and that's like the masculine. It's like perspective, and you see how all these things serve their opposition. The good serves the bad, the light serves the dark, so forth and so on. In this third dimension, everything's made relative through polarity. So the fucked up things that happen to us actually leverage the fun things that we're experiencing, you know. So that's a big teaching. That's foundational teaching for me and all the retreats is how to open up and love everything, come into the frequency of love. And that's unconditional love. And with that comes boundaries. We'll go deeper into that. But this is, if you're hanging around this crew, you're in a good place for that because that's what we're all doing is making this incarnation, the most out of it. And with that comes making amends and really coming to peace with all these things that have happened. So it's really not about like shifting or fixing, but it's more about opening to and loving and finding how that serves us, whether that you can find the story around it or you can just understand like if I'm not holding love, if I don't like something, I'm holding resentment. I can never truly reach the frequency of our destiny, which is love. When we die, the near-death experiences, when you completely dissolve in DMT, you reach this place of love. That's our destiny, the metaphysical God energy of love that is within everything, that is within us. That's our destiny. And like Yeshua, like talking about the unconditional love, he held that frequency towards all things. And so when you can reach that, it's like being in that place of love, that's where you don't get sick. That's where you're at peace. That's where you have this mad potential to manifest. That's where you're having fun. So it's all these things. We teach a lot around, these retreats and going into depth. We're going to be moving through each of the chakras, the energy centers, and how that correlates to our lives. So, long story short, yes, it has the potential to shift those fucked up things.
I'd like to
Yeah,
chime in.
I'm
Oh,
not looking. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, please finish.
Oh, I was just going to say I understand there's no bleach, and I'm thankful for the. I guess the word is I'm thankful for everything that has happened because it made me who I am today. But
Mm.
I'd like to not fantasize about them anymore or have those demons, so to speak, in the back of my head when I make decisions or if I want to get into a relationship or the way I go about work, way I handle myself. It seems to be that they're just overshadowing. And to give you just an example to insight, my dad left when I was called 6 months old, walked away. Um, and the first time I saw him was on TV when he was handing the keys to Timmy Smith in 1986, the running back for the Washington Redskins, the keys to the Corvette. And it said Robert Everett on the bottom. And I was like, man. And my mom knew, everyone at the house knew except for me. So she kind of like pulled me aside and like, I don't know, gave me ice cream or something. So I didn't reflect on it or ask a whole lot of questions. But that's still because he had 204 yards rushing. The only reason I know I one running back had, I vividly remember him on the podium, and I was like, man, that's fucked up. And now I have kids, and I can't get over that because there's not enough. There's not an army that would keep me from my kids.
Mm.
Brad, this is great that you're bringing this up. I think the intention's already being set, you know? So we could talk more about this on the side too, not to take too much time with the specifics, but absolutely, brother. This is like great groundwork for what you're speaking about.
Yeah, and it's bleeding into my life now. I think more as I get older and I'm understanding things more. So that's what I'm. That's the uprooting I'm trying to understand about me as a human moving forward, so I can be a better person.
Absolutely, brother. I'd love to get on a call with you and share more about this and what I've learned.
Yeah, let's set something up.
Cool.
Oh, thanks, Brad. I appreciate you, brother. You
Mm.
definitely got to come to Peru, bro.
I'm coming.
Steve, was there something you wanted to add or share?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say for myself and for many masculine people, like men in my life that I've witnessed walk this path with this medicine and come from like really fucked up things, that are perpetuating the loop and destroying current life, like just can't fully get over it. But for myself included, I have noticed it's like this very gentle acceptance that kind of happens where, like Jay says, sitting under Jay as my teacher, it's like you almost like find a leverage that, damn, that really happened. I see it clearly now and the way forward. And so, like, I encourage you, like, that yeah, this medicine has a very, it's not a, it's gonna fix it all. It just shifts your perspective. It's almost like putting on a different pair of glasses for everything that's going on in your life.
Mm.
And then you can start rewriting how it makes you feel and how you act and how you behave from there forward. So for me, it was a slow progression forward, but after 4 years of working with this medicine, I am a completely different version of myself. Not because everything in my life changed, but because I changed the way that I saw everything in my life. So that's
Bars.
Can
Oh,
I tack on like one little note?
sure.
Um, just the, Jay already covered it a lot, but like the masculine that this medicine, but also this trip, and also just the embodiment and everyone leading it completely shifted my experience of the masculine. Like, 'cause just going to dinner with everyone the first night, let alone the whole rest of the experience, gave me, like when we were talking about perspective shifts, like gave me a new thing to have a compare and contrast to, of like, wow, it really gets to be like this, and not just something that I like read or listen on a podcast, or but like you're surrounded by people who are holding that, and that's then it sticks. It becomes stickier because it sticks to you, and it gives you so much more to work with other than trying to work through your mind. Like it in every level of your body. Like, wow, this is available. Cool.
Oh, thank you, Katie.
I'll just say, we're going up there to plant seeds. Like it's like this metaphor and that rings out, but it's really this is the seed for our life moving forward from right now. It's like we're the amount of energy it takes to say yes, the financial contributions, the time to travel out there, the time taking space, climbing up the mountain, the taking the medicine, the opening the heart, all that energy is funneling into the seed that we're planting, which is whatever is bringing us up that mountain. So it's like from that point forward, we are growing this specific seed, whatever that intention is, whatever it's to, have a family, if it's to like write a book, whatever seed you're planting, we're going up there with all this momentum, all this energy to go plant it in the ground where there's rich soil. Up there, the soil is the community. It's like this environment where it's just so nourished that the seed has all this love to start sprouting and the belief in the seed, the belief in ourselves, the belief in this tribe, in this mission, in this planet, in this collective global tribe. So just to keep in mind, it's like this is really what we're going is to plant this seed of intention. What are we creating? What do we want to create? What really matters?
Oh, well said, Jay. Any other questions or insights or anything anyone wants to add?
Yeah, I would just like to ask a quick question, Monroe here. I just did a group with Tyler, the men's group,
Yeah.
Austin West Arena. What an incredible, life-changing container that was. Um, yeah, just really wanting to explore again. Been feeling the call. Worked with Aya back in 2022 or 2023, and I've had some experiences since that made me kind of take some distance from working with medicines because it just, you know, there's time and space, right? And so kind of been feeling the call again. And then the timing of this, the timing has always just been so organic every time that I've been called to do these journeys. I'm pretty sold. I'm pretty in. Joe, sorry, I just realized we didn't get to hop on Monday, but
I did
here
too. I
we
was like,
are, right?
yeah,
So here
totally.
we are. It all works out. Yeah, Tyler had already spoke to this before, but I'd love to hear it kind of in the container of this group. But some of the differences between, I guess, the Shavine and the
Mm.
pilgrimage, and I guess I can look on the website, but if they're, the pilgrimage is going to be men only, if there's some are going to be co-ed, I just kind of like to know what the options are prior to making my decision. Um, so,
That's a really great question. And thanks for asking because they're very different. And, where we're going to be operating out of Lima for Chavin, Cusco for Sacred Valley. So the food tour, the cultural immersion, the exploration is going to be totally different. And that's part of the full spectrum value that I've from day one been offering people that I bring because we're traveling all the way over there. It would be a disservice to our soul to not experience their culture, their food, what their art, all the things that is created. And that brings in inspiration for our expressions and our creations. So Lima on the coast, like I said, it's fire, it's sassy. You've got infusions from Spain, you've got the Asian influence, you've got the native influence around the culinary aspects, and that's a big part for me. And it's like food and creation and heartfelt expressions. And then Cusco it's like one of the most artsy like places as far as the way they're preparing the food, what it looks like, all the different um, preparations, and then the art. It's just like huge art scenes. So with that, right outside of Cusco is Pisac, where we're going to be basically operating out of, which is it's a hub for shamanism and medicine and psychedelic healing and exploration, and which is really cool. Some people really connect to this aspect. Some people don't really care about it, but PSAC is just full of different cultural shops where you can buy all different native instruments and feathers and hape and tools and ponchos and any type of mountain shamanic historic ancestral gear. It's really cool and just being able to explore the art there. And then Hernan, our teacher, Quechua descent, we hiked to three different mountains. This is more of a rite of passage in the essence that you're hiking 7 to 10 miles. The medicine really helps. But even though like those of us are in shape, when you're at like 12,000 foot elevation going uphill, you're like, woo, like it can really wind you, and you just keep going and keep going. And that alone creates so much momentum with like it's all going into the seed that we're planting into the ground. So why are we walking up this mountain? It's because we have this intention. We're coming with this intention. So I believe that the hikes really add to the nurturing of the seed, the intention that we're planting, and the perspective that you get to gain from going up there. And that also just contributes to like momentum and believing in ourselves, like we can do this. And so that part might be too physically demanding for some, and so that's, something to consider. And that's why it's more rite of passage. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes the sun's out, but it all adds. The sun leverages the rain. If it was just sunny all the time, we'd be like, oh, okay, this is that. But whenever it rains for 30 minutes, you got your umbrella and your rain jacket, and then the sun comes out, you're like, this is amazing. So it's just like we apply that to emotions. If we're feeling depressed, whenever we feel good, if we really embrace that depression, whenever the sun comes back out, it's going to be beautiful, like exponentially more of a greater experience. So there's that. The cultural immersion is a bit deeper in the Sacred Valley, and the retreat center is a bit more luxurious, and it's one stationary place. On the other hand, you've got Chavin, where we'll be operating out of Lima on the coast. Part of the food tour there is going to be going to Pucusana, where Bourdain did an episode, and it's an hour south of Lima. It's a quaint fishing village, and I've made friends with this family of chefs who have the hottest restaurant there, and they take us in, and it's just a private access. They're just bringing out 12 courses, seafood, all this beautiful stuff, and that's part of the cultural immersion there. And then we'll take the Magic School Bus for 8 hours to Chavin, where we'll meet Martin, and we'll be dropping right into his house, and all the art that him and his wife create is some of the best like Andean art that I've ever seen. And so really the history, how iconic and historic the Chavin Temple is really why people go to Chavin. And for the physically demanding part, it's not as physically demanding. We'll have 1, 2 to 3 mile hikes at the most, but mostly like 1 to 2 mile hikes in these sacred sites. There's three different locations. The Shavin Temple, this was 4 or 5 thousand years ago. The temple was thriving, and there's a period known as the Shavin Peace Period that lasted 800 years, where there was no hierarchy, no violence. The society was just completely getting along. And this makes perfect sense to those of us who work with this medicine. Like in this group, this team, there's no hierarchy. I don't consider myself above anybody else. I'm just like, y'all tell me when y'all need me. Like it's that vibe. It's the cactus is just people who work with the cactus are the coolest people I've ever met, period. Any of the peyote people, we go sit in peyote meetings, any of the Wachuma people, the grounded spirituality and just the laid back presence that they bring has really inspired me, and that's just the frequency I've carried working with the medicine so closely. So that and then there's Bosque de Rocas is the second ceremony at Chavin, which is this ancient rock forest where there's 10,000-year-old cave paintings and like carvings, very historic, super energetic. And then there's Heaven's Gate, which was Don Howard's favorite location. It's this aqua blue lake with this fern, like tropical vibe, and also snow-capped mountains. And it's just like the coloration and the ceremony that Martine brings is quite epic. So, really the history there and just being with Martine alone in this altar, and this man's one of the most purest individuals I've ever met. So that's a general breakdown of the two experiences.
Oh, thank you, Jay.
Thank
Hmm.
you.
And yeah, in the Sacred Valley, we have both two. We have a men's pilgrimage and a co-ed pilgrimage too, which is something else to feel into, which bring, different energies in themselves. The obvious energies, being in a men's group that you just were with Austin, we can go a lot deeper as men, which is going to be really, really powerful. And there's just something beautiful about the co-ed that brings in the union and the integration with the feminine being there, which is really, really special as well. So all three trips are going to be deeply unique and obviously a co-creation with everybody that comes energetically. Um, I know we're past 7. Is there any other questions that you feel burning to know about the experiences or anything you want to add? Anyone?
It looks like Duffy got Tyler's message.
The 7 p.m. start. Same with
Yeah,
Derek. What's up,
yeah.
bro?
We're here for the last 2 minutes, so let's go.
Let's go.
I'll watch the video. I'm already like really interested based on just what you're talking about with the ceremonies and the like itinerary of the trip. And yeah, I'm pissed I missed it, but I mean at least yeah, I'm here.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll send the recording for sure.
cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm so grateful for this call. Man, everything is just landing in the most beautiful way. Someone said bars earlier, and y'all have just been, yeah, really speaking to exactly what my soul is wanting to hear. And yeah, just grateful.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Thanks, Ryan.
Oh.
Stoked you're joining us,
I
bro.
see Derek's joined in.
Time I've been wanting to for years, and it's time to give that to myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's up, Derek?
What's up, everyone? Good to see you, fam. New faces too, and old brothers from past lives. Yeah, I was just chatting. I just got back into town. I was going back through circling back through all the messages I met, and Tyler left me this beautiful message about Egypt, and he's like, "Yo, we're jumping in a call in like 10 minutes, and I had to wrap up some stuff, but I just wanted to hop in and see everyone's faces, and um, I've done what you with Jason a number of times, and it's always been an incredible experience, and I don't get called to medicine very often, but something called me onto this call, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of traveling next year and want to incorporate, just get an idea of when and where you guys are going to be doing some of these missions. I've heard of Martin, I think he's Alejo's cousin or something like that, Don Alejo from the Shabin, but I've heard about his ceremonies and his beautiful art, and um, so yeah, I jumped on late, but there's a couple different dates that you guys are looking at, huh?
Yeah,
For
three
different
retreats. There's a co-ed at Chavin,
three.
a men's at Sacred Valley, and then a
Okay,
co-ed at Sacred Valley.
epic. Yeah, I'll follow up with you or Tyler to get those dates, and would love to be a part of at least one of them for sure.
Amazing, brother. I would love to have
Let's
you there.
go.
And we're going sit with the Alejo in 2 weeks. The whole team here.
Oh,
In
really?
It's like
Colombia.
the team is taking like with Donnie and a crew. It's like our like really grounding in the intention and setting and like really go and sit at another the feet of another wisdom keeper and learn and continue to develop and just bring you guys everything that we can acquire on the path.
Yeah, I mean, the Path of Shavin is such a beautiful one, and Alejo is one of my favorites. The way him and Daniel hold ceremony and the way they talk and they weave in witchcraft and masculine, feminine polarities and things I hadn't seen, and just the stories and how they tell them. That's a really good base or foundation that you guys are doing in the next few weeks to bring out next year at the fullest. So,
Right.
hell yeah, awesome.
I hope.
Beautiful. Any other final questions?
I'll say hi real quick. I'm already locked in on Shavine, but
Yeah.
did you guys go to Shavine last year too? Or was it just Sacred Valley last year?
No, we did Chavin the year before that, the 2 years before that.
Oh, okay. And then are we like moving around different towns near there? Are we like staying in the same lodging?
Yes, that's a good question. So part of that, there will be one move we'll be landing in Chavin, Martine's home, or we'll be staying at this, nice little center. And then we'll have the first ceremony. And then after that, we'll be moving to a retreat center in Horaz, where we'll spend the rest of our time. And we'll go to the two other sacred sites right outside of the retreat. It'll be a lot closer. That way we're not traveling so much before and after ceremony like we did 2 years ago. So just part of this whole experience has been refined over the decade, and it's getting really sharp. So yeah, that's a little bit different where some people, might feel a little more called to just be settled into one place. This is more of like the philosopher and like the geographer, going out and like exploring different lands and moving. So yeah, a bit different in that regard.
And the Lima food tour is on the beginning and
Shavi,
the
the beginning and the
live
end. So,
ceremonies
so we've
and the end. Okay.
before, since I've been doing this, I've been offering this optional food tour cultural immersion as just like, hey, I'm gonna guide us and I'll organize everything. You guys just be responsible. And I would end up getting all the Airbnbs and typical me, I wouldn't even follow up. Like some people would throw me a little money and everything. I was like, okay, this is a little unorganized, but we're having fun, so let's keep it going. And what we've seen, how much people would get from landing days before the retreat, acclimating, co-regulating with the group and the integration and start to like have these conversations, stepping outside of our day-to-day life, how much people would get from that. And then people that would come in right before the retreat and hear about that and they're like, damn, I wish I would have known. So now we've built it in because we just see how valuable it really is. This is not just like, oh, let me go do this weekend retreat. And like, so one sister was like, oh, well, like a week. And it's like, this is like a experience of a lifetime. This is not just like, oh, let me throw this into my yearly schedule. Like this one experience, we're planting this seed specifically for our life moving forward and all the momentum and all the intention from the collective tribe here is going to be going into that seed. So we're doing this together. So that's why I tell people, it's like, man, the 2 days before and after, people are like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. It's like, guys, this is something that's going to alter the rest of your life. So we're giving it everything we've got in those 2 days before, and then the 2 days after to not jump right back in, to just sit quietly before you got to talk to your boss or see, you know, family members, even to just be with yourself and be with tribe who've shared this experience to continue to really anchor in how we want to step back foot onto home turf. It's like, what's that first step on North American continent going to feel like? What direction are we traveling? It's like we want to be very precise on the direction we're traveling when we're coming home from this experience. And that's part of gaining that perspective of like, wait, I need to change the trajectory just a little bit because if we go off course, it's going to take us a lot more energy and time to get back on the trajectory that's going to fulfill us on our deathbed. So the sooner that we can change that to the precise direction we need to travel, when we step foot on home turf, there's no questions of, well, okay, no, we know exactly where we're putting our energy and where we're taking this.
Sweet.
Oh,
I'm
bars.
stoked.
I'm sold. Holy cow. Uh, Okay. I think if anybody has any more questions, like you just reach out to us, hit us up. We're like, this is, not a traditional, using all the things. Like we just want to, like I said earlier, the thing that this experience is about that I love so much, and a thing I am deeply inspired when I see in another is when you have the call in your heart that I need to do this. I don't even know why. There's something there, and having the courage to say yes, like that's what this is about. And I already know I've done this enough that when we're sitting in circle opening that ceremony together, every single person that's going to be sitting next to us was meant to be there. And I know that to be true. And if that's somebody, one of you, you already know. And let's figure out how to get you there. Um, I will say we are coming up on mid-November. We're leaving first week of January to go out there. The trips go into February. So if you're planning that Chavin trip, there's preparation that we put together. There's prep calls. There's a packet we put together to prepare physically, mentally, emotionally. So if it is a call that you're having, it's becoming time to kind of move on that and let us know and let's get you signed up so that we can start preparing together and getting things ready so we can make the most out of the trip together. Everybody that registered, I think some people might have just joined through the link, but we'll send a recording out to everybody as well. And if you weren't here live, we'll send that out as well. So thanks, Jay, dude, you crushed it, bro. Thank you so much for putting this together and just planting the seeds 10 years ago and bringing us on this journey. I could just feel the momentum of where it's at now and just continuing to build. It's just, I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of it and excited to see some of y'all on the mountains this year.
Oh, thank you, brother.
I echo all that. Oh my goodness. Yo,
Yeah.
and just thank you guys for all showing up here and taking the time out of your day to open up your heart and get a little flavor, a little spirit and flavor from us, a little spirit and flavor exchange here. Looking forward to a lot more connection.
I'll just say this is hyping me up. It's like usually like things don't really step for me because I got other things going, but I'm glad we did this just to like really like inflame this solar plexus heart coherent. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be on the mountain and with this new development and everything we're bringing. I'm stoked for you guys. Like what I've seen for those of us who have gone up this mountain with this intention, with this way, this old way. I'm stoked for you guys.
Thank you all. If you haven't, even if you're already signed up and you haven't filled out an application, there's some really important questions on there. So, and if you're interested in coming, the best thing to do, even if you're like still uncertain, fill out an application that will help you get into our system because there's many people coming in, and that's one of the things we're learning on the back end is to track and make sure we don't lose anybody. So if you are interested, make sure you fill out an application. That's the best way to get you in, and we can keep in contact with you until that final decision is made. And you can do that at spiritandflavor.com. Make sure you guys do that.
And a
Um,
good way to hold, if you fill out an application before we close the final spot, we will reach out to you for first right of refusal.
Mm.
oh, all right. Much love, y'all. Appreciate you.
Love you guys.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Torres.
Everyone.